jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Good morning, everyone. WCS back on the Boulevard once again. Big shout out to the supporters, as always. First in the building. You already know Captain Chaos. Shout out to the realest world comeback. Shout out to the wild dog on deck. You already know, people. Tuesday, first of the week. Let's get right down to it. There's been a lot of talk. Shout out to Cape Man. What's good on deck with it? I'll wait till some more people get on here. You already know, because we got to talk about the De La Hoya situation and the strange sequence of events that played out, you know, at the weigh-ins, and then carried over to fight night, which, you know, Ryan Garcia did not. He wasn't able. He failed at earning the victory April 22nd, T-Mobile Arena. So apart from what we actually seen played out on TV, there was much more going on behind the scenes from what was said out to the general public. And that was the contentiousness that had been boiling over due to the pressers, due to the promo, the lead up to the fight, everything else that went along with building this up, right? And the history, pretty much, if those of you that stay close to the sport, the history between Al Heyman and De La Hoya, or PBC and De La Hoya, hasn't been good. It hasn't been a healthy situation. You can absolutely say the rapport isn't mutual respect between the two. For whatever reason, you heard Leonard Ellaby say that we took your fighters back in the day. When you're talking about promoters, yeah, that can be personal. You know what I'm saying? That can be personal. That can be something that lasts a long time, man. You know what I'm saying? That can be something that even if you try to get away from it, it will always be there. Because if indeed, I know it's true, but I'm just saying, if indeed De La Hoya is still thinking about this, on how his fighters were removed and how another manager or promotion benefited off those fighters, you know what I'm saying, in their careers, being that De La Hoya kind of had these fighters early on in their career and they were snatched or removed from his ownership or possession. Not ownership as far as owning the fighters. We're talking about contractually binded. I would feel some type of way about that. I'm saying, if I was in a boxing game. So finally, let's get to the launch pad of all of this, right? You remember when I told you that, this seems like it's going to be a test run for them to do business? because you just don't see Golden Boy and PBC doing business together. This was one of those big fights where we was going to get to see if everybody wanted to play nice for professional reasons. It kind of worked out good. The only thing that got a little bit, testy was the final presser on fight week. Leading up to that, they pretty much let the fighters do what they had to do. You know what I'm saying? It was some here and there, back and forth in the media. But for the most part, even at the presser, let's just go back to the presser. The two press conferences they had like 45 days out before the fight. It wasn't too much being said, except De La Hoya was complaining just like Ryan Garcia about the rehydration clause. Now, you're talking about a Hall of Famer in De La Hoya who's been around boxing for a long time. Somebody was over in Ryan Garcia's corner to basically go over everything with him from line to line in that contract. So he had people to assist him. But for them to get on the mic and complain about what was in the contract, knowing that you've been around the sport long enough to develop a team of qualified individuals to look over your contract, there shouldn't have been no complaining in the media, especially if it wasn't going to do anything for you to get it changed. From what I seen, nobody on Team Davis was going to capitulate to appease Team Ryan. I didn't see anybody over there that was willing to genuflect. That's what Ryan had to do in the end, though. But nobody on Tank's team, I didn't see them willing to genuflect and bow their head in submission to appease Team Garcia and say, you know what? I hear a whole lot of, I hear some legends up here. I hear some other people talking about this. Yeah, the rematch clause. I mean, not the rematch clause, the rehydration clause. That's a little bit too much and all this. Everybody had their say so in it. But at the end of the day, Team Davis wasn't going to change anything in there to appease Mr. Entitlement himself, Ryan Garcia. Period. It was on record that one person said that Ryan Garcia had one of the best attorneys that you can get. So if you had one of the best attorneys you can get, and he looked over that paperwork the same, and even he, speaking with you, couldn't persuade those on the other side to change something that you saw contractually that you didn't like, then you got to deal with it, bro. You got to let it go. So it was some exchanges going back and forth in the media. You know what I'm saying? It happens in boxing. We continue to see the weeks go by, some back and forth here and there, until it got pretty much, a little bit more caustic. When De La Hoya said what he had to say, Leonard came up there. Hey, Leonard. Leonard came up there with a grenade with no pen anyway. So he said what he said, got straight to the point, and sat down. You know what I'm saying? He said, you've been asleep at the wheel for a long time. So when they got the fight week, the only thing that kind of, I was a bit bewildered was that, first of all, all these guys like Bhop, Oscar, Floyd, Tank's team, Calvin, you're talking about individuals that have a collective amount of experience in the sport for a long freaking time, y'all. So this is not the first weigh-in that they've been a part of. So the Bhop situation, as I was looking, right, if you look up at the different camera angle from the fans angle, from the media's angle out there looking up, you can see Mike Tyson was standing there right next to the fighters, just outside view. And you slowly seeing Bernard Hopkins working himself from where Ryan Garcia was, what would be the right side of the viewer that is looking up at the weigh-in, Bernard started to make himself to the left, make his way to the left. He started to gradually change his distance and shift from Ryan Garcia over to where Tank was. Just take a look at the video. So when he finally got over there, it didn't take him long. Like Gervonta, the only person that Tank had pretty much, made contact with was the guy name that was right up there that's always getting between the fights. I forgot his name, but okay. He said, "Hold on, we got it. Let us face all that. We got it. Don't get in between us." And that's what I was saying. Let these guys face off, right? At that point in time, it wasn't no hands on nothing. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't the place of Bernard Hopkins to make this stance. You know why? Because when Ryan Garcia came up and did the face off on the West Coast, if I'm not mistaken, he was the one that got physical first. So when they was over there in Vegas and they started to face off, Tank was just talking his shit. Ryan was attempting to try to talk his shit. And out of nowhere, Bernard reaches down at the waist, which he could have just tapped him on the shoulder. It was strange. It was on some other shit that I don't want to get into, but it was strange how, he reached and Calvin was right there. He reached on his waist and he got the attention because Tank ended up turning his attention over to Bhop and told him what he told him. And then he went back to facing off with Ryan Garcia. Now, what he was saying about the hands and all this other stuff, I thought for a minute Bhop was just trying to sell the fight and give it a little bit more mustard, a little bit more wasabi, a little bit more, twang. A little bit more sauce to the weigh-ins of events. But then after the face-off was over, and we're talking about both fighters officially leveling the scales, and the fight is done. Both fighters have made weight on the first stage. They still had the second stage left. The second stage was the weigh-in of the fight, right? So between time, the fight is somewhat official anyway. You know what I'm saying? If somebody would have came in overweight, the fight still would have went on. It just would have been a penalty, okay? There was some talk behind the scenes that it was a little bit more going on. There was some premeditation. There was some plotting and scheming, supposedly. If I put this up there, you might kind of understand what I'm talking about. De La Hoya was sitting in the dark, and his claim was after the fight that Ryan Garcia lost, and he was stopped for the first time in his career, which was highly predicted by myself. The presence of De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins was absent from the post-fight conference. I mean, people ran with it. People say, "Oh, they ghosted him." When you look at the post-fight itself, they weren't in the ring. In this particular case, the PBC is calling the shots, and they don't want anything to break out in the ring. They want to be proactive and not allowing certain people into the square with both teams in the ring. From what I understood, that they didn't have permission to be in the ring. I don't know how true that is. From my understanding, Bhop and De La Hoya didn't have permission to be in the ring. So with that said, the post-fight still went on as it went on. Tank gave his post-fight interview, and then, all the other, routine protocols that happened after the fight. We went to the post-fight conference, and that's where you can visibly see Eddie Gomez, I think that's his name, who is the president. He was there representing Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia didn't seem to feel no type of way. He felt like he was at peace a little bit. It seemed like he was trying to gather information from Tank, He acted like he was trying to apologize to Tank for even thinking that he would be competitive during the fight. I don't know what was going on, but it wasn't anything like some "you my enemy." We still in the club. Deep down inside, I really think Ryan Garcia wanted to be closer to Tank than he let on to be. Not on some funny shit, but he might have this "I look up to you" type of situation. He see the growth in what's going on with Tank. He say, he say, "I look up to you," or, "I consider you as a friend." Ryan might be that type of dude that see Tank as an alpha male, point blank period. He might see Tank as an alpha male. That's all. Because he was standing up there after just being stopped, and he didn't seem too discouraged about the outcome. You feel me? He didn't seem too discouraged. But the storm that was going on was Oscar De La Hoya and Bhop was absent from the post-fight conference because they was in fear for something. Well, Oscar De La Hoya's been on record saying they was in fear. It was threats going on. Not Oscar. I mean, what's somebody going to do for Oscar? So I had the opportunity to talk to the team, one of the team members, Tank, and they told me it was no such thing going on. Nobody was threatening, Oscar De La Hoya. They team communicate. You know what I'm saying? They talking amongst each other. They hear what's going on. They hear all the rumor mill that Oscar De La Hoya felt this way, and he went in there and found a closet and turned on a little lamp and said, "Shh, shh, shh, shh. I'm just coming to you all to tell you that the reason why I didn't show up to the post-fight conference because it was threats made upon my life." Oscar went in there in the dark and did a video. I talked to a member of the team, and they was totally dumbfounded as to what Oscar was talking about. They really truly didn't know what the heck Oscar was talking about when it comes to these threats and everything. I'm trying to ask myself, is it just to save face from the way y'all looked in the ring? Like, this is your big opportunity. You're having fighters coming to the big fights and they're not showing up right. They're not performing. And Ryan Garcia was one of those fighters, those names that you had, and you was hoping big things happen, but he pretty much embarrassed y'all. Were you saying that you had threats made upon you because you were saving face about the outcome of Ryan Garcia? Can anybody else vouch for any of these threats that's being made? How did you even receive the threats? Who told you about the threats? Was it somebody on your team that warned you? Because that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing somebody around warn you all that it was threats. Who was the threat, though? Was it Team Davis? Was it some guys over there in Vegas? Who was the threats coming from? I would just like to know, where did all this information start to come from? If anybody know, please help me out. What's going on, Big Blunts and Boxing? What's good? Everyone that's in the chat, salute to you. Man, they knew Ryan wasn't ready. They were all ready for the money. Well, at least he was ready for something. If he wasn't ready to fight, he was ready for the money, huh, Kate, man? You know what I'm saying? I agree. If he wasn't ready for the fight, he was ready for the money. You feel me? That's where I'm at with it. But I did have a conversation with someone from Tank's camp, and they're adamant about not knowing where this information is filtered from. So all I'm asking is, if De La Hoya is willing to go into the dark, a man of his stature, and feel some type of way about his life being in danger, wouldn't you have to, feel a certain way to report it? Or, get certain people involved? You're Oscar De La Hoya. You don't have any security. Why would they be? Why would it be? I know it's much more personal now when it comes down to it. Real talk. I know it's much more personal at the end of the day when it comes PBC Golden Boy. I know, but why would they want to extract you at that point, being that you are a name and it'll bring unneeded attention to those individuals that's already in Vegas? I don't see the point, man. Like, I don't see how this makes any sense that your life will be in danger and they won't start to do a full-blown investigation if something happened to Oscar. Come on, man. Like, I want to know some sources, Oscar, or you just trying to, get people to rally to your aid because your fighter looked terrible. You know what I'm saying? He was levels below. This wasn't a beauty contest. The runway was different. See, Ryan Garcia wasn't used to making that ring walk and getting into the ring like that on a fight of that magnitude. See, his runway was, I walk out all the way to the end. I let the people see my face and what I got on. And then I do a bow face and go back into the dressing room where they can continue to touch my makeup on and all that and put me on a different outfit. No, this ring walk, the runway was different because you had to go and take care of some physical business. It required you to go in the heart of combat inside the four corner dominion. You had to go and cross the battle lines. That means potentially your makeup was going to become, a little bit undone. You may receive some punishment to your face. And it's funny how really after the knockout, he wasn't bleeding anything. I'm pretty sure he had somebody in his corner. But when he got hit with that body shot and his nose started to bleed, it just seems like, man, that shut everything down. That just zipped it all. That just sealed it right there. Like, I'm hearing rumor mills that, he didn't want to get up because he didn't want to get punished anymore. When the referee got to 10, he stood straight up and walked back to his corner. But after everything that happened, Team Davis got what they wanted. They got the victory. They got the stoppage. So I'm thinking De La Hoya might just be hallucinating, bro. The reason why I say that, I can say that I seen this man in person. I told you all on the live. When he was down here, old boy was lifted. When I say lifted, it's like an old Southern Baptist song. Oh, lift me up. Mm-hmm. It was somewhat like some glorified down south Baptist singing. Lift me up with whatever he was on. When he was down here, he was lit. That's what I'm saying. Was De La Hoya hallucinating when all of this came about? Because when he was down here, you can tell he was right. He was lifted. I wonder what was he lifted in Vegas though? And it got to a point where he was just straight up paranoid about what he thought was going to happen. I'm just curious because, yeah, your boy looked bad. You wasn't in charge of anything. You couldn't get in there and be with your fighter. Going to the press conference, I don't know how much danger you would have been on with all those cameras and all those people in there breaking down equipment. I know y'all seen it. It was people up there breaking down, stuff and getting everything ready to pack up and move out. What was going to go down? Seriously. So those of you that's tuned in, man, I wouldn't put too much emphasis in De La Hoya hallucinations. Maybe he was still thinking about Leonard Ellaby and what he said, that you've been asleep at the wheel for a long time. You know what I'm saying? That may have been it right there. He said if Oscar would have been an A-side, they would have put Tank through fire to get that fight. Yes, absolutely. I agree. No doubt about it. What's going on, right side? How you feel, man? Superman, he quit and got up right at 10. That's cap. He was walking around the rest of the night, taking pictures with Tank and taking his phone number. All promo and money grab. Well, Superman, look, you gotta understand one thing. As your name is Superman, he considered himself to be the Flash. So for him, he felt like he was doing his just due. He was doing his duties after the fact. He was going around taking pictures and just mingling with his fans. Because if you look at his IG followers, they did increase. So for him, I mean, he's pretty much what I said, man. I just didn't see that he was cut out to go to the dark side with Tank. Everyone has their reason for being in the shadows in their past, bro. Seriously, everybody has their reason for being there. Like you see dudes that come up different. Whether their shadows was in the streets, whether it was inside their household, the way they was raised and what they had to experience. It could have been abuse. It could have been both physically and verbally. It could have been anything. Or you have people that was locked up, or you had people that was homeless. Everybody's shadow of darkness is different. I've been on record as saying I don't think Ryan Garcia has been through the shadows. Even though he said it was some mental health, yeah, those wealthy entitled people, they have different type of darkness sometimes. They have all the money and all the silver spoons laying around them. They've been fed and they've been given. They've been satisfied, pampered, and it's still not enough. It's just weird. You take somebody off the street, you take the one who struggled coming up, you know what I'm saying? The one that never had to take the ladder. They had the elevators. You know what I'm saying? They never had to take the ladder. Ryan Garcia came off to me as one of those guys who was pretty much comfortable with being blessed with looks, being told how he looked, pretty much had people boost his ego. You know what I'm saying? Keep his hair looking real nice because he was the moneymaker. Ryan Garcia is the moneymaker of the family, man. I'm not saying his family was rich. I'm just saying Ryan Garcia is the moneymaker of the family. You know what I'm saying? From amateurs up to professional, he did what he had to do to get where he was at. But of course, when you cross over that line and turn professional, those bragging rights that you had in the amateurs and the names that went on to become world champions, that falls back into the shadows for whence you came, bro. You haven't really added up stepping over here to the professional ranks yet. Ryan said he's going to go to 140 next. Good. It's all good. I hope you go to 140 next. It's all good. But at the end of the day, I don't want to tear down Ryan and say, that he wasn't qualified for the job. Because I said, man, social media is not the reality of getting in there and find somebody who built his following the hard way. Like when you got it off the concrete, when you got that shit out the mud, when you went through as much adversity as Tank and a lot of other fighters went through. I mean, your level of darkness, the way the distance you really willing to travel, because you've been to the dark side before, the distance you're willing to travel is going to be extremely different than Ryan Garcia, who will walk towards the shadows, and then he'll turn around and say, "Hey, excuse me, Bhop, Oscar, is anyone of y'all can go in here first? Just go in here first and check for me, please." I heard somebody say, "Well, goddamn, Ryan Garcia from Victorville. That's the slums, Nino Brown." No, stop it. I'm not saying Ryan ain't been in a fight in his life, bro. I'm not saying he ain't been in a fight in his life, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he's had to stay for a long period of time and suffer. You know what I'm saying? Having to go out here and depend on certain people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think he was out there like that doing dirt. You know what I'm saying? Subjecting himself to people that was less fortunate. Well, I don't think he was ever in a situation where he considered himself to be on the same level of those who are less fortunate, those who are on the street, those who willing to, rob, kill. You know You know what I'm saying? Rob, steal, and kill. And, whatever the case is. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think that he's been through a period of adversity where he really had to push past a threshold that he never even visited before. He don't come off as a person that really had to, experience a deep level of adversity and survive that shit to the point where he said, okay, that made me stronger right there. Yeah, that made me stronger right there. Okay, I'm a much stronger person. Nobody on his resume and his profession led me to that. Even Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell didn't take him into the depths of darkness in that boxing match to a level where he had to be on survival mode. He had to fight his way out for survival. Luke Campbell didn't do that for Ryan Garcia. Real talk. Hold on for a second, y'all. The XO factory on deck. I see you, XO, in the building. What you been up to, big dog? Shout out to the XO factory in the building. Salute to you, brother. Right side say Oscar was on that. Yeah, yo, paranoia is the main symptom, respectfully. Yeah, man. Like he was down here in the A. I was extremely close to, communicating, but Oscar was lifted. So I really couldn't bring him down just for a little bit. He was anxious to keep it moving, and he didn't want nobody to see how his eyes look. You know what I'm saying? How dilated his pupils was. Oscar was probably seeing through walls down here. You know what I'm saying? Then he finally made it to the mic. Dude was saying some stuff that just didn't make any sense. But that ain't nothing new for Oscar. But my main point was to get it straight of what I heard from a member of the team that, they didn't have no idea about what Oscar was talking about. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have no idea about what Oscar was implying. It may have been just to bring a little bit more, empathy his way, because once again, one of his fighters failed to show up and show out. That's just a fact. He failed. And being that he have a history with Floyd, he have a history with a lot of guys that was on deck that night. If it's a positive that I can bring from this is that it showed that these individuals can make money together. That doesn't mean they was up there carrying on long conversations, but they showed they can make money with one another. That's the most respectful part about it, the money. So why would they mess up the bag by bringing unwanted attention with a threat on Oscar De La Hoya when they made money off this? They did business together. Tank was clearly the A side, so he definitely brought back the lion's share of this purse, and he brought home the victory, and he brought home the bragging rights. So you can't really say anything else other than that is that PBC won that night. All the way around, they won, man. Anybody that was in the building, they won. 80 plus pay-per-view. And then we have these speculations of what the numbers may be. If the numbers is indeed that high, You're talking about a level change, man. Seriously, you're talking about another level change for Tank. A lot of fighters, this is one thing I can say for sure about what was put out there, that a lot of fighters was looking at this. It's like, oh man, this got me motivated. Did it? Did it? Because I always put it out there like fighters have to find a way the level change and get to a point where people want to come out and see you. You know how I was talking about how Ryan was implying that Tank couldn't complete a sentence and making it seem like the man was dumb and all that shit. But yet, post fight, if you look at him, this same dude who was trying to imply somebody couldn't complete a sentence and he was weighing a person, all that, he was up there and he was a fan, y'all. Ryan Garcia was a fan at the end of the day. He walked up on Tank like he was an actual fan looking for an autograph. And I know that shit made Tank uncomfortable. Real talk. Come on, man. He probably said to his team, like, man, come on, bro. Dude was up there, give me his phone, asked the number, asked me what I needed for my birthday. He was gonna put some money aside from the purse that he earned tonight and make sure I get something for my birthday. He respect, how I went in there and beat his ass. And he just want to be pen pals for now. He don't want no smoke. I mean, seriously, I think Ryan Garcia, he gave Tank so much respect prior to the fight. We saw right through the damn facade that he was putting on. He was role playing. He wanted to act like he was tough. I told you all, when Tank caught him with the left hook on stage, it was over. It was over. If Ryan would have hit him back with a left hook, just look, I'm gonna tell you the perfect example of how this would have played out even better for Ryan Garcia in a sense, right? Because we seen Tank in weigh-ins. He always have the closer. He pushed Gamboa. He pushed Rolly off the stage. You know what I'm saying? He always know how to get the people tuned in to pay for him, right? This is how this could have went a whole nother way and could have added on probably another 100,000 pay-per-views, right? You want to know? Just like Canelo and Caleb Plant. If Tank would have hit him with the left hook and Ryan would have swung and hit Tank with the left hook, then it would have been some serious back and forth punches being thrown. We can't act like the fight wouldn't have happened because Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez actually swung on each other. If Ryan Garcia would have did the exact same thing that Caleb Plant did, and then Tank would have returned, we would have looked at a whole different. I'm serious. It would have been a whole different perspective on Ryan Garcia. But see, Ryan Garcia didn't give us what Caleb Plant gave Canelo. Canelo pushed Caleb. He didn't punch him initially. He pushed him. And Caleb Plant walked back over to Canelo, who had already was dressed for the occasion. He already knew what he was going to do. He had some slacks on and a polo shirt. He was ready. Whereas his opposition, Caleb Plant, had on a tailored suit, which would have restricted him from really getting full, looseness in his combination, full flexibility. Caleb came back there and swung on Canelo. It was an open hand, but he still swung on him. And then Canelo Alvarez returned the favor. Now, if Ryan Garcia would have did that to Tank when he hit him with that left hook, we're talking about a whole nother shit. We're talking about possibly 100,000 more citizens tuning in, globally, because now we have physical contact. Now they're going to be saying that Ryan Garcia is not scared of Tank. But when Ryan did not respond to being touched on the jaw, and he said, "Ooh," and he started to shoot shot, man, all goofy. He was like, "Nah, bro, nah, that ain't it, bro. Nope, that ain't it." Demo gaming, what's good? Ryan only played his fans. We already knew what it was. True words, true words. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rolly versus Ryan. Yeah, man. I would like that fight. I would pay to see that fight, Rolly versus Ryan. Especially if Rolly is able to get past Ismael Barroso, the replacement for Alberto Puello, who tested positive and was trying to cheat. You know what I'm saying? He is out on suspension. You know what I'm saying? He is no longer in the slot to face Rolly Romero. He was stripped. So, yes, possibly it's going to be Ismael, right? He gets this victory. Therefore, Ryan Garcia can absolutely leave 135. Even though this wasn't at 135, he can leave 135 and get an immediate title shot at 140. Why? I mean, isn't that what Rolly did? Why? PBC and whoever Rolly is signed to, they looking for him to have a named opponent to make some money. What better name to make Rolly some money than Ryan Garcia, who just got out the ring with Tank, just like Rolly did. Rolly coming off a knockout with Tank. Ryan Garcia coming off a knockout with Tank. Both of them guys have a common opponent that stopped them. Sign them guys up. Sign them guys up, bro. Oscar went from golden boy to golden girl. Man, y'all see y'all up here being arsonists again, up here starting fires on a Tuesday, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all supposed to be chilling. Club goes up on a Tuesday, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all up here burning it down before they even get jumping. He said golden boy to golden girl. Damn. Just disrespectful, man. Oscar was capping. He just didn't want to man up because he knew Ryan was still a pup. Is he? Is he, Elliot? Let's be honest. Let's be honest there, Elliot. Is Ryan a pup? Just because you lack the heart to go in there and scrap like a big dog, does that make you a pup? Or you just don't have that dog in you? Which one is it? Because that man 25 years old. It's a lot of other fighters that's around his age that no one would even talk about him being a pup. I know where you're going. I know where you at with it. You're saying heart-wise. You know what I'm saying? His psyche, his heart, he just don't have the heart to go in there and match that dog with Tank Davis. I get it. He haven't been to places Tank been. Tank got a lot more dog nations, mentality about him than Ryan Garcia. Period. It's just fact. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't consider him a pup though, because he has 23 victories to his name, man. He has 23 victories to his name. He has a amateur pedigree, bro. You know what I'm saying? Both of those guys has amateur pedigrees, man. What's going on, UK? He said, come on, bro. You know Oscar was on that good yayo. Curtain twitching. Hearing threats in empty rooms with private security. And in that stadium full of cameras. If he ain't safe, then he ain't safe anywhere. Man, talk that, man. For real. Man, talk that real. That's true words, dog. They had cameras everywhere, man. You're talking about everywhere. Even though there's some fights, though. I don't know if y'all seen. There was a fight. Old boy picked up a chair like we was at WrestleMania or something, dog. Mother picked up a chair, dog. Like what could have happened outside that? That you to pick up a chair and you want to hit somebody while they're on the ground of a chair? I mean, god dang. But Oscar, man, yes, he's been known to have those different type of pupils. You know what I'm saying? He was going through some sense of paranoia and embarrassment at the same time. Bhop, B-Hop is B-Hop, man. I don't know what he was on. I don't know why he made himself all the way over there where Team Davis was, man, and touched that man. What was the point? I don't get it. What was he trying to do? Some prison stuff? Like, what was going on? You just couldn't tap him on the shoulder. His left shoulder was closer to you than his waist was. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was trying to pull him away, or you was trying to, I don't know what that was, man. He did that right in front of Calvin too. So it's almost like he knew something was going to be said immediately. It's not like Calvin reactive impulsively because he ain't trying to mess up the bag or Tank. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he ain't trying to mess up the bag. So he said, you don't have to touch him. You don't have to touch him. So who was in charge? Was PBC in charge or was Bhop in charge? I don't know, man. Like, all that security that was there, like they had mad security on stage. And this is where this all at. This is where you was in fear for your life. I don't know, man. Yeah, people hit me up. My bad. My bad. The fact, that's a fact, got his followers up. Now he got to start training for real in that 140-pound division. He does, man, because truth be told, man, they got some hitters up there, some real hitters. I'm not talking about the lightweight division don't have hitters, that Superman, but I'm talking about that 140 division got some true ones. I mean, across the board. When you're talking about the Fab Five, when you're talking about the Five Kings, the Six Kings, it's enough up there really to make close to good 8 kings up there, man. And them ones is at the top. Yeah. I'm curious, man. I would like to even see him step in there with Cepeda. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if he has to take a tune-up prior to whoever he's gonna fight, I mean, it's some hitters up there at the championship level. He got to figure it out. Sunshine Boxing. What? Shout to Sunshine Boxing. Heck no. The queen herself is in the building. Salute to you. I know exactly who you are. This person's been all over the world, man. Salute to you, Sunshine Boxing in the building. It's a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure. Good to see you over here. I look at your content all the time. You know, the first time I met you down here and everything, I had to go do a little bit more research. Man, you've been all everywhere, for real. You've been everywhere. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to Sunshine Boxing. Duran Too Real for TV. Salute WCS just tapped in. Thanks for real boxing content. I appreciate you for TV. I appreciate you. No doubt about it. XO say been busy. Big bro, I had to show up to hear my bro cook. I appreciate you, XO. I appreciate you, XO. No doubt, man. Those of you that's at work, you know what I'm saying, in the work week, making that dollar bill or two, three, or four. Shout out to y'all, man. Go in there, be safe out there and everything. You always got something crazy going on, but when it comes to boxing, it's just the same. It's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in boxing too. But I just wanted to put it out there that De La Hoya may be hallucinating about what Leonard Ellaby said to him. He might have had Ellaby, these having these visions about what Leonard said to him while he was on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Because De La Hoya didn't respond. He didn't respond too much to it at all. Overall, man, my assessment, I'm not gonna lie to you, this fight took off on fight week. I'm not even gonna hold you on that, like, to criticize it. This fight took off for somebody who like Ryan Garcia, who hasn't had any opponents that match up the Tank's, resume, anybody on Tank's resume to say, okay, Ryan did fight this person that we can kind of compare him to. It was nobody, right? But truth be told, on fight week, man, this fight took off, man. When they had them press conferences 45 days out before the fight, I said, okay, that wasn't too bad. I'm saying that wasn't too bad. That was pretty cool. Tank was late to the first one. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia wanted to complain about contractual details. That kicked it off right there, right? That kicked it off. That kicked off the animosity and everything. And then, of course, the physicality that happened while they was on the West Coast. That kept it spinning. And then it really picked back up on fight week, man. Like the All Access was on point. Like them episodes they did with All Access, that was on point, man. That was on point. And the whole time, I'm thinking like, this is a unique dynamic, for these fighters to come together, being that Tank has already been on pay-per-view. He is the hitter. He's clearly the A side. And, Ryan Garcia, they just waiting to see what he does on fight night, pretty much. But when it came down to it, they took Ryan's fan base. They took Tank's fan base. You know what I'm saying? The only one that had momentum coming into this fight was Tank from stopping Hector Garcia. He's the only one that had the momentum. So they matched that up together. Fight week turned into something special, man, with the presser, the weigh-ins. Oh, my God, the weigh-in. They had like freaking 60 people on stage for lightweights. This is lightweights, y'all. Fighters who cannot weigh over 146 pounds on fight on the late morning that they weighed in over there. We're talking about 144 pounds, and we had 60 people on deck to somewhat stop something. I don't know, man. But the fight went pretty much the way we thought. Like I said the other day, Tank, his IQ was too much for Ryan. He pretty much found out that Ryan loves throwing the same speed on all his punches. Garcia attempted to go out there and take control of the momentum that haven't been established. So since it hasn't been established, Ryan said, okay, I'm going to set the pace. He attempted to lead from the front, y'all. Y'all got to give it to her. Ryan Garcia attempted to come out and do what Rolly was doing. No BS, bro. Ryan tried to come out and do what Rolly did. They wanted to pressure Tank. People was telling him, hey, man, if you pressure him from the gate out to open the bell, he doesn't do well. He doesn't do well, man. Just look at his previous fights. He don't do well. Pressure him. Make him, force him to box off the back foot. And then while he's going backwards, you can set up your shots, man. You're too fast for him. You're too fast. Well, if you're throwing every one of your shots the same speed and timing beats power, right? Well, Gervonta definitely had his timing down, and he slipped finally what everybody wanted to see. The lead left hook, he slipped it. You overly committed on doing the same thing Leo Santa Cruz did and got blasted on. I give it to you. You got up. but you still went down early. You faced adversity early. You got up and you still went right back to trying to pressure. I got to give Ryan Garcia a smidget. You know what I'm saying? I got to give him a smidget. Like, I got to give him the bark of a chihuahua. I can't give him the XL pit bull, you know what I'm saying? The XL bully. I can't give him that. I got to give him the bark of a chihuahua. You know what I'm saying? Chihuahuas can get aggressive now, especially if you got more than one. I can give him the aggressiveness of a chihuahua that has maybe a partner. You know what I'm saying? Both of y'all, was picked up at the kennel at the same time. And y'all know each other. I'm just saying, I got to give him the bark of Chihuahua, dog. He tried to be aggressive. Every combination he threw damn near. Like when he was able to push him up against the ropes, he did land a shot. But he also, in the back of his mind, he knew what happened to Rolly when Tank was against the ropes. See, Ryan Garcia is all about taking pictures, but he didn't want to take that picture, the same one that Rolly took. When you just remember the flash, he didn't want to take that picture, y'all. So when he got him up against the ropes, he landed a combination, but he didn't so-called just rush in there because, he don't know how to fight on the inside. At that point in time, he was just trying to establish some type of respect with Tank. He was trying to land something that he know he got a good solid contact with so he can kind of gauge how Tank reacts. He wanted to land a shot on Tank. That's all he wanted. He wanted to land a shot to see if his power was real, to see if he can have an effect that no one else was able to have on Tank. That's just me, man. That's just my assumption at the end of the day. But truth be told, the fight ended up being it seems like it's going to be a monetary success, especially for the business. If the numbers are absolutely on point, in line with what we've been hearing out here, amazing. What's this going to do for Crawford Spence? They're going to have to come with it. Seriously, they're going to have to come with it, man. Because people wasn't talking about this fight for 5 years. They wasn't talking about this fight for 5 years. I'm just being honest. They wasn't talking about this fight for 5 years, yo. And if this fight did upwards, if this fight indeed did upwards, man, I don't know what to tell them. They're gonna have to come with something. They're gonna have to come with it, man. They're gonna have to come with it. Real talk. Like I put out there that fighters was looking at this and it kind of got. Nobody really took this serious, especially when he ducked and pulled out of the fight and said he was fighting Pacquiao. He just came back around. You know what I'm saying? He fought Javier Fortuna, who wasn't even in shape. It was really momentum that Garcia had going into this fight, except his social media followings. And then the man pulled out of a fight in January this year. For whatever reason, he felt he didn't want to get injured or whatever the case may be. But he did show up to the fight. He tried, but he wasn't true. Ryan Garcia tried, but he wasn't true. So we move forward from this. He tried, but he couldn't get it done, period. He tried, but he couldn't get it done. It happens. What's next for Tank? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Truth be told, I don't know. Because, we need to see what's going to happen with Devin Haney-Lomachenko situation. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what's going to happen. Seriously, we don't know. Shout out to Cal, the boxing section, TBS on deck. What's good with it, Cal? I see you in the building. Man. My people, I have to bounce and take care of daddy duties. Once again, man, y'all continue to support the channel however you so see however you deem necessary. You understand me? However you deem necessary. But y'all need a chance they're gonna fight in Saudi. I'll take it. Because we just seen Deontay Wilder in the sands. If it's Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder finally, what better time to do it? Because they need something, man. We can't get the undisputed. We need something. So if this is gonna take place in Saudi, man, I'm hyped about that fight with him and Joshua. I'm hyped about that fight with him and Joshua. I definitely want to see that. I definitely want to see that. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see if Eddie Hearns is basically pump faking again, or he really truly got some big news for us. And if that news is with Wilder, fighting over there in Saudi with Anthony Joshua, God dang, that's gonna be, oh my God. I might try to find a way. Hey, Cal, I might try to find a way. If you find any camels, man, walking around here, man, you know what I'm saying? Like they leave them scooters out there, them electric scooters. If you find some camels, tied to a pole, hey man, drop me a message or something. Man. I'm gonna try to lift that. I'm gonna try to find a way to roll up in there, man, and look the part, man. I gotta find a way for my travels. A camel, they hold that water down. I know they'd be good. I need to try to make that fight. Deontay Wilder, freaking Anthony Joshua, yes sir. But hey, big shout out to Team Davis, man. Y'all did what y'all supposed to do in devastating fashion. Big shout out to the supporters of the channel. Big shout out to Team Tucker, of course. You know what I'm saying? He has another fight. And I want to send my apologies to the Team Tucker, because you had another fighter out here in Amari Jones that was clout chasing, just because he had a fight coming up on May 20th. He wanted to just bring some attention. So he should give you some type of freaking paycheck there, Jahai, for using your name to bring attention, because he's gonna be on that May 20th card. You know what I'm saying? And people always talk about don't clout chase, but they the main ones out here doing it. So on behalf of WCS, I apologize for, Amari's up here just, acting like he wasn't impressed, but yet he didn't want to step up for the test. Until next time, man, y'all turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm out.